Hey guys, this is your second stimulus check update as well as your stimulus package update for Thursday, August 13th, as well as your briefing on Nancy Pelosi's briefing and Kayleigh McEnany's briefing. Hope that you guys are having a great day. I just wanted to bring you this news real quick today because there were these two briefings held right after I posted my stimulus update this morning. So here is the news. As far as Nancy Pelosi, inside her news briefing, it was all about the stimulus negotiations. In fact, she had like a poster board that laid out what the Democrats want with the cost they want to spend and what the Republicans want and the amount of money that they want to spend. So it was interesting. The discrepancies are interesting too. What the Democrats are saying the Republicans want to spend and what the Republicans are saying they want to spend, and vice versa. It's super interesting. There's a bunch of discrepancies as far as what they're each saying about each other, which is interesting. Can I say that enough? If you haven't already, like this video so that YouTube pushes it to other people so that more people can hear about this news. And I would just appreciate it a bunch. We're a small channel trying to grow and reach as many people as possible with some quick news. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi's briefing. She talked about children a lot. She referred to children and she said, what about the children? Let's help the children, my grandchildren. And often she referred to schools and helping schools and how they want to help schools a bunch and how the Republicans, she was saying, don't want to help schools a bunch, which is a discrepancy because the Republicans are saying that they do want to help schools actually. So it's weird to see both sides of the story. She also said that she wants to spend $25 billion in this next stimulus package on the Postal Service. And she said that the Republicans have actually said that they will spend some money on the Postal Service. They just don't want to spend $25 billion. And apparently the wording is a little weird, and that's what it gets down to in these final steps of the negotiation. They might agree on an amount or something, but it's the way that one party wants to word the bill. So in this case, she doesn't like how the Republicans want to word the bill for the Postal Service. She also says that, so she wants to spend $3.5 billion on voting and mail-in voting. And she says that she wants a lot of this to go to the voting areas and having them spaced appropriately and having them clean and appropriate for the coronavirus and the situation right now. Although it's interesting, and I'll touch on this later, so make sure to stick around. Kayleigh in her press briefing touched on this, and again, it's interesting, the discrepancy between the two, so we'll talk about that a little later when I get to Kayleigh's briefing. Nancy Pelosi said that they came down to $1 trillion, right? They were at $3.4 trillion of what they wanted to spend again. And she said, we're willing to come down $1 trillion. We just want them to come up $1 trillion. And then once we agree on that amount, let's then sit down and allocate the money and put it where it needs to go, which I think is a very logical approach, actually. If they can just agree on a number, let's just agree on a number. Pick a number and then say, okay, let's budget it out. I don't know. I think it'd be a decent idea, but apparently they aren't willing to do that right now. Also, one last thing about Nancy Pelosi's briefing, she was taking some questions, and she's actually going to be leaving Washington, D.C. after this week. She has to speak in California for the Democratic National Convention, and so she's actually leaving. So if something, which I highly doubt something's going to happen today or tomorrow, but I was going to say, if something doesn't happen, it's not going to happen all next week either. So really, this isn't good news. And it doesn't look good as far as things happening before September, honestly. I know I said in my video earlier today that it still could, and I was remaining positive. I'm a little bit more pessimistic about this now. But we should still stay positive. So, Kayleigh McEnany, she had her press briefing. She does one almost every day for the White House, or she does every day. And so I watched hers as well because I was like, Nancy Pelosi just finished hers. Now Kayleigh is getting on and she's going to do hers. She talked about Steve Mnuchin and how Steve Mnuchin was quoted saying that the Republicans want to give money for schools, food, evictions, vaccines, childcare, rental assistance, state and local government funding, that they want to give it to all these areas. They just don't want to give it to mail-in voting. And one reason is, and she stated this at the end of her, if you go watch her press briefing, it's at the very end, right before she walks out. She says, 3 years ago in 2018, $1.2 billion was given for absentee voting to states. And that she said they've only spent about 6% of that money. And there's about $1 billion still available from over 3 years ago for absentee voting. Now, I don't know, I haven't fact-checked this, but if this is true and if it's real that that was given 3 years ago and there's still that much left over and they haven't used it all, why are we looking at $3.5 billion and why is that the holdup on this whole stimulus package? If that is a holdup on the whole package. Like, why? You know what I mean? So, something to think about. I haven't fact checked it, but that's what she said, and I wanted to bring that to you guys. It's a piece of interesting news. Anyway, that is all the news that I have for you from Kayleigh's press briefing, as well as from Nancy Pelosi's press briefing. Lastly, I'll share, maybe I'll put this in the video. So this is the poster that Nancy Pelosi had during her press briefing. And it gives a list of items, the Democrats, how much they wanted to spend, and the GOP, how much they wanted to spend. So she says for food assistance, Democrats want to give $60 billion, GOP $250,000. Anti-eviction and rental assistance, Democrats want to give $100 billion, GOP nothing. Which I don't know if that one's true, that they want to give nothing. I think Mitch McConnell's proposal, he didn't allocate anything, and I think that's what she's referring to, honestly. So yeah, testing and tracing for the virus, they want to give $75 billion. The GOP wants to give $16 billion. I don't know. Safe schools, apparently the Democrats want to give $300 billion, which I had heard previously that it was only $100 billion. I don't know. I think $300 billion was from the HEROES Act, and so they just kind of took their best offer and went with it, but they're actually willing to do a lot less than that for safe schools. And the GOP is willing to do $105 billion. So it's a little interesting to see the discrepancies there. Also, it's interesting to see what she's saying the GOP wants and what the GOP is saying they want, and what she's saying the Democrats want, and what the GOP is saying the Democrats want. So it's really interesting to see these differences, and hopefully we can decipher a little bit what's going on, and we can find some progress in all of this and find some hope and optimism. I hope that you guys have a great day, though. I hope you're already having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you aren't already subscribed, you can do so in one of these corners. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.